first, can you, in the middle of the storm here, how's the county doing?
Right now we're looking pretty good. We were a little bit more prepared for this round of storms. We predicted that this would be much worse than this weekend's was, so we positioned ourselves to be ready for that, versus this weekend where we were prepared for it to be rainy and we were prepared for it to be a winter storm, but I don't think anyone expected that a system would look to stall over us and we would see the amount of water followed by the amount of wind that we had, just to compound all those issues.
And what's been the big concern either today or throughout this past week with the storm here in San Joaquin County?
Really just looking at the amount of water that's been coming in and the consistent amount of water that's coming in. We know that our waterways tend to pick up all of that water that comes in here, plus anything that's coming down the river systems and the channels that feed into the delta. So really just watching those levels, making sure that those are staying within the appropriate monitor stages. If we need to look at evacuations, but right now everything looks good, even though they look like they're very full and they are running very high. They're all within the proper monitoring channels, and we are making sure that all of our partners are watching those at the same time.
And then any particular concerns or things you guys are looking forward to going into this weekend and the next kind of round of rain?
Yeah, really, again, the same thing, looking at this just long-term river of storms that are coming in, making sure that we are working with our partners at the Delta, or throughout the Delta, the reclamation districts and the dam operators and the reservoirs. They weren't full a couple days ago. They're starting to fill up fairly quickly. So just making sure that if they're going to start making releases on top of the storms that we're seeing, that we just kind of coordinate with everybody on that to make sure that when the water gets down to us, that we are in the appropriate channels. We don't want to exceed anyone's banks. We don't want to cause any issues. So really just working with everybody, coordinating, partnering with our cities and the special districts just to make sure everybody has what they need and making sure that we are ready to go in the event that the system changes in any fashion.
And we've seen some kind of bigger issues in other counties like Sacramento. You had like 10 levee breaches and deaths, even the Bay Area too. Aside from just the storm's kind of natural path and the geography here, is there anything different that we did to prepare or that we did differently to prevent some of those things from happening here?
No, our levee maintaining agencies and the reclamation districts in our county have worked hard for several years to make sure that their systems are able to handle those increased capacities. A lot of them have built them up more than what the minimum standards are. So they were ready for it. They monitor, they go out and do 24-hour patrols when water gets to a certain level. Watching the way that the rain was coming in, they were making those preparations and getting ready for all of that. So if there were issues that arose, they were there, they were ready to take care of it. And we just didn't see that path the way that some of the other counties did. We got, that was the one little bit of blessing in all of this, was we got spared a bit.
And going into this weekend, in the next kind of round, any message to the people out there in San Joaquin County?
Always for us is to be prepared, be ready, keep an eye on what's going on. We have our SJ Ready Facebook, our Twitter, Instagram. We are updating our website every day. We just added 10 additional sites in the last 24 hours for residents to get sandbags. So we're always posting and sharing the information, just being prepared, trying to find if you can go out and pick up medications this weekend before we get into next week, before that weather picks up again, trying to stay off the road as much as possible. So really just making sure that everybody's aware of what's going on so that way they can make decisions based on what they have going on.
And then one more question too, what's it been like, for people behind these doors here the past week?
We've been activated since Saturday. We kind of picked up to a full level overnight just to make sure that we were ready for anything that could happen. Again, we got lucky. The storm kind of changed its path at the last moment, and we didn't see the results of that bomb cyclone that everybody had been talking about. We were ready for it and we expected it, but we just didn't see it. So it was a bit of a relief this morning to come in and know that everybody was still safe and we weren't seeing those things. We still do have the localized flooding. We're working with all of our partners on that, fire departments, police departments, sheriff's department, water districts. Everybody's out there trying to make sure that the issues that we had seen from the last storm get resolved before we see any major issues for the next storm.
Perfect. Most of my questions there. Anything else you want to add or you think we should know?
I don't think so. Just, again, that reminder of being prepared and always being ready. Having a go kit if you live in the areas that are either low-lying or near waterways. But we continue to monitor, and we want to make sure that we give people as much advance notice as they can to get out of an area should they feel threatened or if the situation changes.